Hello, hello, hello. Ah, okay. Hey, software update just before I went live. I didn't know. Anyway, good to see all the familiar faces back anyway. Sunday morning here in Melbourne. We've had a bit of rain. The top half of Australia has had much, much more rain. Flooding, actually. All right, sound is good now. I wonder why it was echoing. That was weird. Anyway, okay. Is my sound clipping? Or is it just nice, clear and loud? Or should I put it a bit louder? And before any of you say, yeah, go louder, make sure you haven't got your volume turned down too loud. Yeah, a lot of familiar faces today. All right. As always, guys, if you want to ask me a question in the live stream that's happening right now, as I'm recording this, on the right, make sure you type a whole bunch of bright emojis, a couple of them right before your question, just so I can see them in the stream amongst all the chat text of all the rest of you. Okay, cool. I'll read some of the more interesting and notable comments that I was able to notice the last few days under my videos while you guys ask your own questions. Yeah, as Cardio Hits, he actually said under my video where I said try and try again, which I got a mixed reaction to. I knew I would get some reactions as in, oh, what's humans saying? You should, you know, go back to the plantation, get married, have kids, white picket fence and all this. Like, I'm not saying that, but I knew many guys would think that defensively. I was talking broadly, but if you're a guy who wants kids and you're stressing yourself out because it's so dangerous, but you won't find the best way you can do it if you dearly want something in life. Like, if there's a way for something to be done and it's your main reason for living and you're always frustrated that you can't do it, I would say that's not a good way to live. I don't know what you can do. I mean, I'm not that kind of person, but it makes more sense to try the best optimal way to go about getting what you want. I know it's dangerous out there. I'm just tired of the Spurgs kind of saying it's a black and white issue. Every single woman's the same, which means every single man is the same. But then when you say that, it's like, oh no, not all men are the same. We're all individuals. We're all this, we're all that. It's like, yeah, okay, what about, are there any women in your life you respect? Your mother, your sister, anyone? Oh, yeah, but they're rare. Okay, you've got a couple of rare people that are non-romantic in your life. Wouldn't reason and logic suggest that, not that you have to again, like I can just predict like the knee-jerk reactions. Oh, you're saying that, like, wouldn't it suggest that even if there are a limited amount of okay women out there, just okay, and not even to say compatible, which is even harder, just okay women that you still might not be able to get along with, wouldn't it be better to be to have really clear standards? And even if you find someone attractive, even if you think, oh well, she would be good girlfriend material or commitment material potentially, if you have these clear standards and they're very, they're the static, they're the black and white thing that you've developed over time. These are your ethics. This is what makes sense. This is what keeps the hygiene of your life good. The wrong kind of person cannot pass through there. It's like a square peg through a round hole. You might like her, but she gets to that hole and she can't pass through your standards, which is your hole. If you know what I mean, I'm trying to paint a picture. But this safe rule that keeps men I just talk to guys and they're talking to me in rehearsed platitudes, and they don't talk to me like a human being with their own language. It's just like, you suggest anything, and it's like, no. Yeah, but how about no? Yeah, but what if you... No. Okay. But then they complain about that thing. So on the one hand, they're really annoyed at something they want to be close to, whether it's women, whether it's whatever. And no matter what suggestion you give them, no matter how you want to talk around the subject and get them to kind of express, yeah, these are the issues and this is what the problem is. And then someone might have experience or something to say, well, have you ever thought about this? Or I can actually tell that given your personality, you're very, very close. No one can get through. So of course no one can. Like if you're a really, really closed person, and I'm not saying you should just leave yourself open to everyone to exploit you, because the world wants to exploit you, including women, including business, whatever. But if you only see yourself as, I'm completely open in a blind way, and I'm trusting every stranger out there to treat me like my mother or my best friend, and they haven't even earned the trust of that, that is the kind of ridiculous standard I want to help guys avoid. It's nice to have friends you can trust. I've been in good relationships for periods of time where it's the reason why I leave the door open, because I know when it's good, even if it was temporary in the past. I know what a good relationship can give you that a simulacra can't, if that's what you want. Again, if that's what you want. If you don't care about relationships, fine, I get it. But stop telling me I'm wrong, I'm wrong, I'm wrong. Given if I want something in my life, don't tell me what I want is wrong. If I'm trying to go about it in the best way I can, if I acknowledge what you're saying about the dangers, if someone sort of says to me, but human, women, blah, 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 and I'll say, yes, you're right, but, and then they say, no buts, I don't want to hear anything about you. These are the rules. This is the church of the manosphere. Let's go, okay, go back to your church. Go back to, spitting rhymes from your Bible like a rapper, and you're not actually talking to me. I can't talk to a rehearsed human being. That it's almost like people rehearse lines defensively. Like if you want to talk about what's difficult or where they had pain in their lives, like say they got hurt by an ex, maybe they got divorced, right? They got their kids taken away. I realize it was painful, but the moment you say, yeah, but I want kids. I'm not saying I want kids, but I'm giving an example. I want kids. And this person, no, there's absolutely no way I had this experience. Don't. It's like, yeah, but is it 100% guaranteed that my woman is exactly like yours? Yeah, don't fool yourself, human. I know you want kids. You need to suffer through that. Don't go through what I did. Yeah, but I want to talk with you. No, I don't want to talk about it. I don't want to go there. So the guy doesn't want to go back to that pain, doesn't want to revisit it. I get it. But if you don't want to talk about it openly simply because you don't want to go through your mistakes maybe in a different way and face that perhaps you could have done things differently now that you're more mature. Maybe you did things naively, but if you can't face your mistakes and own up to, hey, yeah, I think I effed up a bit. Yeah, if I had my time again with my ex 10 or 15 years ago, with my brain now, with my maturity, I may have gone about it this way. I may not have even gone out with her. That's mostly the case. But I did a couple of things naively as well. That's the kind of conversation I enjoy having. I understand if something's completely ridiculous to try, if it's reckless. But if there's a gray area of approaching an issue, approaching some sort of risk in life, where if you approach it the right way, the risk goes from like 80 to 90% of random women, you will get this result, as opposed to if I've got very clear standards and I reject as much trash as I can consciously see and observe in front of me, that 80 to 90% of women treating me the same way as my exes goes down to like 50. Or if I'm hyper vigilant about the hygiene of my life, it goes down even further. It can't be black and white. It can't be 100% of women will always act like this and I want 100% safety. And how will I do that? In a very binary black and white view of life. The black and white view is for me is an aggregate of the average of, like, a lot of men's fears compared with a lot of men's successes, and we're all in the middle. We don't live at those extreme binary points. Anyway. Still echo. What the F is the problem with the echo? Testing, testing, 1, 2, 3. Okay, how's that? I don't know. Okay. All right. I tried one more thing. Let me know if the echo's completely gone. Testing, testing, 1, 2, 3, testing, testing. All right. All right. Anyway. Regarding my recent video this week, try again, here's why. Redhead Scottish Viking says, a comfort zone is a nice place to stay, but nothing ever grows there. This is correct. You can hide, close the door, no sunlight gets in, but nothing grows there. You don't grow, there's no color. It's black and white, it's dark, nothing. And if you prefer dead safety over life, fine. You make that choice. But don't tell me it's fun where you're kind of, where my standards are, I think life is experienced in a different way. You're telling me, no, it's a lot of fun here where we complain, we repeat the same things about how we want the world to change and how we want our lives to be different, but we refuse to kind of come out and try to make them differently in a practical sense, because that's the only way it's going to change. You need to practically apply it in your life out here, rather than theoretically lock yourself, like a lot of university people do in their theories. I don't know. I do know. When I say I don't know, I mean I get exasperated. There's always like a little mental, half a second sort of thing trying to figure out which word is it, exasperated or exacerbated? Exasperated. The Socrates of Athens, his comment under the video, try again, here's why. He said, corresponding to what you said about living mathematically, the biggest problem I've seen is that people think that they now know how things in life will turn out without realizing that theirs is but one perspective. Isn't there a saying? I can't remember by who it was. It goes something like, there is your way, there is my way, but there is no right way, or something. Was it Nietzsche? As for the right way, there is no right way. Something like that. There is no right way. Which kind of suggests there are ontological solid facts out there, but the way we engage with them, especially as individuals, there's so much that's subjective, and that's where the fun lies in life. He continues, this nearsightedness leads many to fatalism. Hence, it is essential to be humble about your knowledge and thus to be open to experience. Living well involves strategic thinking, which involves the possibility that you might be, and often are, wrong about your assumptions. Yes, I've often found it's really nice, this quality, this liberation of, that was wrong. Here's the answer. And that kind of little tumbler fixes things in your life, kind of like a Tetris block. It's kind of like other ones kind of fit, but not exactly, but they were good enough. And then you find an answer that's... continues, above all, you must have unshakable faith in yourself to succeed in life. Yes, you need to be stubbornly stubbornly have this will to kind of live and not be right, but want to engage, want to be better, want to listen, not want to look like a fool to yourself. Like, people have told me that I contradict myself, and I probably do, but I'm always chewing and re-chewing what I know, what I think I know, just to know if it tastes the same as I think it does. As in, just to make sure that I still believe what I think I believe, to express it, to tell people what I believe and who I am, and then they, in the conversation, can kind of clarify and make me think better about myself and go, yep, now I believe what I believe even more. But to say you express what you really believe about life, about women, relationships, whatever, and then you talk to someone who's mature and talking with you, and they provide like rebuttal and experience, and it's kind of like another perspective. And you're like, you know what? You're right. Like, I can actually see it from your point of view too. I'm not saying I'm wrong, but you are right. Or you actually might be more right than me. That's a better chair to sit in than my chair. Your chair's a bit more right or clarifying, especially where I am in life. Maybe when I was in my 20s, your perspective was completely wrong, and what I believe now would suit that 20-something-year-old me. But now I'm talking to someone else. It's like, no, this suits the 35-year-old me. This suits the 45-year-old me. That's the kind of astuteness we need, guys. He says, yeah, above all else, you must have an unshakable faith in yourself to succeed in life. Unshakable faith is the choice to believe that you can and will succeed. It's the most productive outlook that you can take on in your life. Yes, good comment. Socrates of Athens. Berg says, you either buy into a system where it's one size fits all, or you buy into yourself where you do that. When you do that, it's always a perfect fit. Yes. Eventually, it always is. It might be kind of uncomfortable to get your fit on. But if you pay attention to make sure it's your fit, it's like trying to put on a pair of shoes that are slightly big or slightly small or far too big. And because everyone's wearing it and there's only one size to wear those shoes, but you like them, but your foot is a bit bigger or a bit smaller, you may really like those pair of shoes. It's like everyone's wearing them. It's great. Makes sense. They're awesome. I think they look great. They don't fit you, but you're going to stubbornly like be in pain as they don't fit you. Well, you know, it's what's better? A superficially cool looking pair of shoes, or a pair of shoes that are slightly different, that you still like, that aren't fashionable, but that fit you perfectly. I think that's a good analogy. Steve says about the video, try again, here's why. I think this video, try again, here's why, got a lot of interesting comments, but it also had a lot of contentious comments, and predictably it had a few guys reacting defensively about what I was saying. They're saying, yeah, are you talking about life? Are you talking about women? If you're talking about women, you're full of crap. And it's like, well, it's really about everything, guys. It applies to anything, any choice you want to make in your life, how much control you want to, yeah, especially women. And this is why I talk about women in relationships so much. Guys, biggest reflex is decisions regarding women. And this kind of shows it. Women and relationships are important to guys. A lot of guys, get over it, go forward, yeah, women aren't important. We don't need women. But the The most popular channels, all they do is talk about women. So I'd say if you've left something behind, you're not watching channels that talk about it. But if you're saying that I'm completely past women, yet you're watching manosphere channels, I don't get it, really. Yeah, especially if you're watching manosphere channels that only talk about the dating PUA side of things, which the most popular channels are. Like the popularity of, again, I can't remember who said it, but someone said if you want to know the character of a society, look at the advertising. So look at what's most popular, and that'll tell you what the character of your society is. Look at TV, the reality TV aspect of, drama and setting up people to get married and wives and bickering and fighting and drama. That's most popular on TV. If that's the most popular thing that sells, that will tell you the kind of person that most people are out there. Those kind of people I can't be with. Makes sense. We need to be realistic about these things. All right, seems like my echo is fixed. Feral Male says, human, it's easy to believe in yourself when the woman you love reinforces that. When that all goes away, most of us really struggle to keep up the act. I understand that. I'm not denying that. After someone breaks your heart, it's terrible and it takes you a long time to pick yourself up and feel good in your own shoes, not attached to someone else. But it takes time, especially if you really cared about somebody. With me, when I've been in a serious relationship and I've loved someone and we break up, I can't actually be open to even wanting to date women again or be with them or even have one night stands or any kind of fun or socialize in that way, in any kind of romantic way with women that's not platonic. It takes me like at least a year to sort of be on my own because I have zero interest. And by the time I'm very solid, it takes me a long time. And that's me. Some guys can do it quicker. I don't know. And it's the same reason where some guys' honeymoon period is a lot shorter. Mine tends to be a lot longer. Some guys say their honeymoon period is 3 months. Mine's typically always been like 6 to 10 months. So I think it's best to pay attention to your dials, what works, like what your honeymoon period is, how long it takes you to recover, what person's compatible with you, what values you have. Looking for cookie cutter answers like, hand me the Bible, hand me the 3-step process. I can't be bothered being interested. Well, if you can't be bothered interested in the mechanics of how you operate in a relationship, then when you go in blindly and let someone else kind of push and pull you around and like use and abuse you, and you're basically blind, hoping that they treat you right, and you're not even looking if you're compatible with this person. They could just be another okay person, a decent person like you might be, but if you're incompatible, that friction irritates you, and then one of you starts creating problems subconsciously to sort of end the relationship because it doesn't feel comfortable. You're basically, again, trying to wear shoes that don't fit you, both of you. And it comes out in, how you left the cup or your toothbrush or whatever, like little arguments about BS because you're not paying attention to what's actually the problem. So all of you guys that think my stuff is philosophical or theatrical, or it's a bit, overly intellectual, human, all women are the same, don't overthink it. So it's just kind of picking a woman you find biologically attractive, cross your fingers, and they all end anyway. It's she's never yours, it's just your turn, all that sort of stuff. It's like, I just cannot live life with that little care about my life. And those of you who think, oh, well, you've got no free will, so it's better just to go with the flow. Okay, go with the stream. As I say, dead fish float downstream. If you're just going to kind of relax and let the stream take you, I might be naive in trying to swim against it or across it to get to sort of where I want to get to. But as I said in my video try this week, I've gotten a lot of great moments in my life, and I'm able to replicate them because I'm trying to hold on to the rudder and steer my ship as much as possible. Whereas you guys think there's no point steering. We're all heading for the grave anyway, so might as well just let go and let yourself crash into the rocks. I'd like to have a better time before I crash into the rocks. You know, I'd rather, you know, swim across stream, even if I am going downstream with everyone else. Anyway. Feral said, my first reaction to your try again video was, how many times do you need to get burned before you stop putting your hand on the stove, but try to keep an open mind? Yes. It's one of those things where before you'd see a hot stove, but you wouldn't know. You wouldn't look at things like the fire. Is it on? Where's the dial? You wouldn't kind of go like that quickly. Before it was like, oh, I just want to grab it, and then you get burnt. I'm just talking about the way to go about things now if you're still interested in doing them. Don't naively do them, but now that you've had experience, especially if you're older, go about them with experience. It's kind of like we don't want to use our experience. We don't want to trust ourselves. That's the worst thing. Guys do not trust themselves. They rely on the Manosphere Bible. And a lot of it is a very, very ultra safe, non-risk Bible that will keep you safe, but takes all the color out of your life. And a lot of guys are living, yeah, not a very good life as far as I can see. And when they talk, they don't even have a vibrant language. They're not kind of speaking from, you know, a place where someone's kind of thought about this stuff and regrouped. And we used to have even movies. Remember Rocky? You know, being knocked down, picking yourself up, going for what you want. Where is all that? Like that inspirational, logical stuff where you try and try again. And I'm not saying blindly, but a lot of a logical fight and a way out and a way to achieve and succeed in something. You know, those little victories. Guys are denying themselves a lot of that. Make sure if you want to ask me a question, guys, you put a few emojis in front of your questions, especially bright ones like red or yellow. They really stand out against because I'm looking at them on my stream. They're always against the white background. I'm reading white text on a black background, whereas you guys are probably reading black text on a white background. But anyway, I'll try my best. Just the guy says, I guess some men watch Manosphere channels because they want to make sense of things and their own experiences retrospectively, but are not really interested in chasing women. That's true too. I'm not denying that. But I noticed that the language of those guys is a lot calmer. It's a lot sort of more intellectual. They're not fighting a rational point of view. So whether it's me or someone else in the comments, and they'll kind of rationally and calmly like lay out what happened or lay out that they think they can succeed in this way, which is a plausible way, but the person didn't, they will fight them. There will kind of be a debate or an argument, and you can see a lot of emotion fighting the person, but the person's not wrong. It may not have worked for the other person. I just prefer a discussion to a debate or a fight. I know men like to work things out by fighting, but still. Christina 14K says, what are some questions you ask to assess compatibility for a friendship? To me, is what is your take on ultimatums? Yes, there's a good one. What are the deal breakers for the person? What are the most important qualities they look for? What don't you like in a boyfriend or a girlfriend? What are the things in the past that caused you, that you found out, this is what I kind of lean towards, is to kind of get to know them, like the person, is like, what have you found out? What lessons have you found out in terms of what really works for you with a guy? What do you need? What do you like? What's compatible with you compared to what you don't like? You know, we're all younger, and we're all kind of, we're like moths going to the flame, like what's attractive. But what have you found that what's not your flame anymore? What don't you want to date anymore? What qualities do you really find you need now that you found were missing? What were the qualities that really irritated you that you thought you could live with, but you couldn't? You know, what, because it's a way of saying, have you self-reflected? Have you gone past the naive biological immaturity of just like, you know, man wants woman hot, and you've actually sort of said, yeah, I can appreciate beauty or attractiveness from a distance, but what I will hold, what I will hold the hand of from now on, what I will call a partner or a girlfriend, or you guys who want marriage and kids, or what I will even consider as possibly being a potential wife, is this now. These are the characteristics. So converse in your way, ask questions in your way, but always lean towards, what have you learnt? What do you like? What don't you like? What are deal breakers? Like you said, they're great questions. What are your ultimatums? Because they're very different from person to person. I notice with a lot of women, it's like, because a lot of women like safety. That's what makes them feel good about being a guy, or even if they superficially like him, they want to make sure they feel safe around him. So for women, it's safety. For guys, it's really not safety. It's more virtues where it lets him know that he can trust her, that she's consistent and reliable. What I try to look out for is consistency in a person, because women might be consistent today, but when you ask them questions, especially over time, if you can see that their answers are consistent, and especially if their answers of what they tell you they're about reflecting, you see them acting, you know, with waitresses and waiters, and when they say please and thank you to strangers, and how they go about life and how respectable they are in your world, and when you observe them in their world, you know, do they complain about their work, their bosses, how they complain? Are they really, really mean and awful? Are they really, when you hear them complain about how awful someone is at work or their boss, are they really sociopathic about it? Are you like, whoa, that's extreme, but let's laugh about it. But part of you is going like, man, I hope if we have an argument, if she's like that towards me, if that's her reaction to when she's peed off, when she's upset, when she doesn't like something, you've got to pay attention to that stuff. So observe her character, but more importantly, interrogate in a fun way about her values, her deal breakers, as you said. That stuff's important. A lot of people avoid it, and the excuse is all women are the same. So they allow themselves to just go out with the dangerous bimbo. The way I'm speaking, like these guys are saying, like, human, you're making life dangerous for guys by saying try again. No, I'm saying be safer. You guys are saying, a lot of you guys are saying, all women are the same, so let's just spin plates and just keep going on Tinder and dating multiple women. That's really dangerous. That is extremely dangerous, especially the way women are. You know, have a one-night stand and then tomorrow morning you get the police knocking on your door. What's safer? My way of whether you do or don't want a relationship, go about things the right way, but go for what you want, or throw all that out the window, don't think, just have fun. You know, life's going to end. Just don't worry about it. That is not philosophically mature. That's not stoic. That is reckless. That is childish to me. That is kind of excusing in a quasi very low level intellectual philosophical way, like, you know, we're going to die one day, so nothing matters. No, there is no meaning but the meaning you ascribe to life. And yeah, we're all going to die, but are you going to sit there? Are you going to let life grab you by the shirt and throw you around? Or are you going to make sure life takes its hands off you and you're the one that moves around by your own accord and with your own legs? And there are no guarantees. The best guarantee you got is how you act with the decisions in front of you. Yeah, TechBiz says, look, be careful what you want because you might get it. You should reach for what you want, but reach for it maturely with your eyes open. If you've never done it before, yeah, there's risks. You might fail because you've never done it before. But if you've done it a few times, I would hope you've learnt lessons. This is the thing that baffles me. Guys, they do things blindly and they think, oh no, it's just like, it's all luck. Like every time I extend my hand, every time I touch a hot stove, it's like this. It's like, what's wrong with you? You got eyes. You got a mind. You got the strongest thing, the thing that separates us from other animals, and especially a guy, the ability to use his mind and his cognition and his experience. And guys are just they become animals in suits driving fast cars and, you know, trying to be Chad and starting businesses. Like literally just animals dressed in fine linen. Tristan says, like, comment, and subscribe. Yes, I agree with Tristan. Like, comment, and subscribe. Thanks, guys. Look, guys, I have nothing really to say about what's going on in Europe at the moment. I don't watch the news at all. Ever since like 2 years ago when all of the isolation kind of happened, and all the contradictory news. Next week it's actually the opposite. Hang on, we don't know what's happening. It's this, it's that. I don't trust anything. I filter my news through the people I know and the people who do watch the news, who are interested in it, who get titillated by it, like watching a car wreck. I talk with them, and I go online, read here and there, but I'm trying to sort of keep a distance from it because everyone is kind of talking from a different point of view. I'm not a political person. But I do feel for the innocent people getting hurt there. So I will say that. Pillmonger says, you'll never know precisely how good your calculated risks are, but you take them into account, being honest with yourself and listening. Take a safe leap of faith and adjust from the experience. Yeah. Get better, get better, get better. It's like anything you undertake, whether it's human beings, you can get lucky. There's luck, but look, I don't feel good about, basing my life on luck. It's like anything, like say, making YouTube videos. I look back on older videos and I cringe. I made so many mistakes and I've gotten better and I've gotten better. And when I look back on my videos, hopefully in a year from now, I'll look back on these videos like, I should have fixed that a long time ago. I should have refined that. Getting better in life and looking forward to getting better and adjusting things that you enjoy doing, and that stuff's great. I don't know why. I don't know. Again, I'm trying to be sympathetic to other people. I'm different. If there's something I like doing, and if there's still a way to make it better or get through, I want to get through. You know, I'm kind of like that crab trying to get out of the bucket, and every other crab's trying to pull me in. But I can see there's a way out, and I'll keep fighting to get out, even if my so-called brotherhood is doing their best to pull me back into the bucket. Look, I have a fraternity with guys, but it's not the kind of guys that I have nothing in common with, that, are so nihilistic, and they just want to talk in a way that, yeah, let's stay in our little bubble and let's not, the world's not a place for us anymore. It's like, no, F that, this world is mine as well. It's not women's. I don't know. Good morning to all the new faces. Yeah, David says something really important. He says, ask the hard questions in the beginning. It helps determine compatibility. There's too many guys at the start, they go on a date, And these PUA guys will tell you the same thing. Don't talk about this, don't talk about that, don't talk about that, don't talk about that, because that will not get you laid. I do the opposite. I talk about what I want to talk about, especially if it's on my mind. I don't avoid what's, a warning sign or something that I really want to know, because, that's not a subject that will disarm her so I can get her into bed. Fine, if that's what you want, keep doing that. I'm talking to guys who don't want to spin plates, but they want to find a compatible person because they've got more important things to do in their lives than just women. All these guys that are like spin plates, make money, they're spending so much of their time with women. Don't fool yourself. If you're spinning plates, constantly rotating women, so much of your life is focused on different women and trying to defend yourself around these strangers, these hot strangers in miniskirts that you're rotating. Mine is like, lock one in and your life is comfortable. Like you've locked your friends and your family in and all these other routines. You can't build in your life if you're constantly having groundhog days every week with women. Upgrading your car every month, changing houses, just keep recycling all the time. I'm the kind of person, if I was a novelist, I would be the kind of person that wants to write large novels, whereas most guys, they like writing, one paragraph blogs all the time. It's probably a poor analogy because I probably do a similar thing with videos. I don't produce movies, I produce 10-minute videos. But what I'm saying is I prefer the stability of long term where I'm not always having to worry that I'm saying, like, say you go out and you buy stuff, you can pick cheap stuff, low quality cheap stuff, and just keep buying it over and over again. Or you can take your time and really make sure you buy something of quality as best you can. I know it might be crap. You might get a lemon as well, but I would really rather make a considered approach and buy something that lasts than just kind of close your eyes and just like experience the new of cheap and blind all the time. Sam says, do people still believe that relationships can last long nowadays? Everything is transitory. People have a hard time accepting the fact from the start. Look, this is the thing. A lot of guys in the manosphere is like, oh, we all die, right? Life ends. So we need to accept it. But you want your relationship to last forever. Your relationship will end too for one of you. One of you is going to pass away before the other person. It's kind of like, pick one. Accept that all things end and then enjoy it for as long as it'll last. Hopefully it lasts you your whole life. But one of you will pass away before the other and it's still going to be painful. Do you want complete safety where you don't feel any pain? Stay on your own. Life is going to be very, very painful with no one around you. A lot of guys in the manosphere online, it's like, no, I got my group online. I don't need anyone. I'm this lone wolf, right? And I'm not saying you should have friends and have relationships just solely because, you have people to take care of you. But it's great to be a lone wolf when you're in your 20s. But when you're older, you realize, I can do everything myself still. But I've done the lone wolf thing like years ago. But I did it to an extent where I did it where there's nothing more to do. Now I enjoy life much more where, say, the videos I produce them for people, for an audience. I interact with you guys. The community aspect, the sharing, the conversation with people, connecting with people is much more important than being on my own. I get much more out of life. And from that standpoint, I recognize, differently from before, that the way I would need to be with someone in a romantic relationship, what I'd get out of it now. That same sort of social dance that really gives me a lot out of life now. that I didn't care about when I was younger. This is all part of the reflection you need to have. I can't be a 20-year-old human trying to live a 50-year-old human's life. It just does not work. It's a shoe that doesn't fit. Shinza says, I've been seeing a working girl and have been playing a dangerous game of projecting my love onto her. It's been a roller coaster. I've learnt a lot. There you go. A lot of us guys can, especially, and I think on the online life now that we live behind screens, it lets us really believe that we can make do with a simulacra. But a lot of these times, psychologically, these fake representations or substitutes for the real thing, like, get an escort, get a doll, all this stuff, it can work for guys, but if you're not honest about, like, does it really work? When you go to sleep at night, is complete, you never feel lonely. You are always on a high. These are the sort of questions. Be real about things. How much interaction with the world do you really need? And if you do need more interaction than you're trying to fool yourself with, that means that you need to kind of adjust how you relate to people when you talk to people. The binary approach from which you sort of see women and men. So yeah, that I'm encouraging that kind of thing, because I just see so many guys like just sinking further and further into a psychological black hole as they get older. And when they start thinking that way, and that concrete sets of their personality when they're in their early 20s, and they don't shift and they become this 50-year-old, 20-year-old person, and like an old youth, that is scary. And with a lot of it, you can't help them. It's like their feet are setting concrete. You can't pull them out, even if they want to. It's like someone's drowning. It's like, help me. It's like, but you got a 10-ton weight dragging you down. It's like, I can't. I just can't. Otherwise, I'll be pulled under with you. This is a Brico says, news you can trust. Does that mean TFM, or is your list of trusted folk more personal? When I talk about people I can trust, I'm talking about my personal life. And maybe one or two people. But like I kind of, to trust my own judgment, I cherry pick from everywhere. Like I read stuff online, I watch videos. I listen to people from everywhere, like my family, my friends. Like I get a really broad cross section, the data, the stats, all this stuff, filter all that through, sift it through, and usually you'll get to sort of something that makes sense for you. And then base it upon my empirical experience. Like I've never been sort of, women are exactly this way, and that's the Bible I use when I go on dates. No. My judgment through my experience is the most primary, and then I learn from everything in life around me. Roman says, what amazes me when asking a woman out and asking them what they would like to do, you would be amazed, and they expect you to come up with the answer and entertainment for them. Yeah. Women don't like being asked questions, most women. They like you taking the lead. They don't like responsibility. They want you reading their mind, and also like that, but they like, how women like you holding their hand and protecting them and leading. And most women like you doing that psychologically too, which is why a lot of women get frustrated, because you can't read their mind as well. They want you holding their hand psychologically in the way they expect it to. So that's why a lot of women love this magical romantic thinking, like, oh, we don't even have to talk. We don't even have to communicate. He just knows. It's like, unless you got to know each other, I can understand it later on when you've passed that honeymoon stage where you've communicated, you've known each other's personality, you know what the other person will react with. But that kind of magical thinking, women want the movie kind of relationship where she doesn't have to talk, he just knows, which is BS. I wouldn't even say that's rare. I would say it's like impossible. But, a woman's going to point to like some sort of rare story, like my cousin Nancy's friends, like brother, sister said, like, oh, their relationship is exactly like that. So it is true. So, checkmate. Fine, play your imaginary chess game. I've noticed that women only find the talking about relationships interesting when it's kind of really fantastical, like a Hollywood movie. When you try and talk to them, if they're not having success or they're annoyed at relationships, if you try and talk to them on a very plain, A leads to B conversation, like if this is the problem you're having in relationships, let's talk like what kind of man you want. Oh, I want a man like this, this, and this. Well, this is the way to get it. You need to, and to them, wow, that's kind of boring. They might not say it, but that's what they're thinking. They don't want, when you say, well, if you want this kind of man, get off Tinder, don't do this, dress differently, don't just kind of dress like a streetwalker. Like if these are the things you want from a guy, act and be a certain way that will, that those kind of guys will notice you more. That your first impression to the guys that you want will be more of a positive. Like, do everything you can to give yourself the better chance to get the exact thing you want. But for women, it's like, no, I want the magical love story that I can tell my friends, and I want to feel surprised and exhilarated. I want to just blindly go into a supermarket and my hand reaches for the cantaloupe, and some other hot stud that's a millionaire, his hands reach for the cantaloupe as well, and we both touch and we look at each other and we just fall in love, and we just know. It's like, okay, fine 12-year-old in a 40-year-old woman's body, keep doing that. Bye. You don't try and save those kind of people. The kind of people that watch, Jennifer Lopez movies today, where's like a 60-year-old woman is acted like a naive teenager all her life, and now at 60 years old she gets like the hot 30-something-year-old billionaire Chad that wants her. A 30-year-old hot guy wants a 60-year-old woman because that's what Hollywood says. Good luck. And then blame men. Don't blame your own entertainment and your own kind of petulant, like willful denial to kind of say like, yeah, it's fun, but let's kind of be real. Even if it's boring, I'll be happy and comfortable and content. No, I want the roller coaster. All right, if you want the roller coaster, you get the roller coaster. But I don't want the roller coaster's results. Well, I can't help you then. Ride the roller coaster, you get the experience of a roller coaster. This is the frustrating thing for me and most guys, whether it's guys or girls. But from my point of view, women that have frustrated me is like, they keep complaining about, I just love roller coasters. I love bad boys. I love this in life. This is how I date. But I want the experience that a roller coaster doesn't give me, but I want to go on them. It's like, but you will get if you go on the roller coaster, that's the experience you get. Yeah, but I don't want it. Then don't go on it. But I want to go on it. Bye. Sorry, I can't talk to you like this. I can't be with you like this. What kind of stability will I have? What kind of stability will you have? Women who want safety and you to be responsible, and they do everything they can to ride that roller coaster and keep ripping your relationship up from its roots, and then blame you that the relationship's not going anywhere. It's not safe. It's not stable. Can't do it anymore. Sorry. Those women, they end up as cat ladies blaming the world and blaming men, but it's the same with guys. Guys that keep going around dating strippers and, watching PORN online all the time. It's kind of like, if you're consumed with that way of life, it's so much fun, that roller coaster you don't want to get off of, but then you complain that you can't find love. You can't find any consistent woman that'll... You've got to use virtuous standards to get virtuous things. You can't use childish standards, having fun, getting drunk, driving fast, and then saying you want a sober life. You want a sober outcome of being drunk. I can't help you. I know it's boring. I know it doesn't make for a good story. Telling people, oh, how did you find the person? Oh, well, I went about it a very, very rational, rudimentary way. It's not a very exciting story, and people are like, okay. Anyway, It's not an exciting story. Do you want an exciting story of how you met, how you luckily got together, or do you want a good story for the rest of your life, whether it's on your own or with someone? Choose. This reliance on luck, I don't like relying on luck. Call me stubborn. I know it doesn't always work out, but not relying on luck, even if it seems boring, going about it the boring way to get a tranquil life, to get a stable life, I'd rather do that. I don't need a roller coaster. I don't want a roller coaster. Okay, keep asking your questions, guys. Remember to put your emojis before your question. Examan 2020 says, I was just thinking of different perceptions my ex said I didn't support her enough. I was working full-time and a weekend job and studying part-time, looking after my son and doing housework. Yeah. Yeah. There's a lot of women that want a man to provide a lot of financial security, to be rich, but at the same time, he doesn't spend enough quality time with her. That's what I mean. Like, you can't be with someone irrational and irresponsible like a child. You know, women that think that they can be the best mother but also be a CEO. You can't split your body and be in two places at once. I can't even read your avatar name. His name is Big D Danex. Danex. This is the thing, like, how can I take you seriously with an avatar name like that? I'll read it anyway because you put a few emojis. He says, human, what can you truly buy that lasts and is quality? Everything is made by your next door neighbor in China. Western industries sold this, whatever. I'm saying you can buy better. There's better quality than just closing your eyes and just taking what's on offer. Feral Android says, human, I'm open to meeting my unicorn, but do you think we should actually pursue it? That's a good question. I'm of the similar bent. I stopped pursuing my unicorn a long time ago, but the door's unlocked, but I'm not wasting time running after it anymore. And it's true if you don't sort of go out there and try, but how much effort do you give? I think you're better off giving much more effort to your own life, leaving the door for a relationship unlocked, even if you close it, because you've got better things to do. If it happens, it happens. But the whole PUA crowd spends most of their time spinning plates and focusing on women and dating women, even though they tell you they're not. They're all focusing on businesses. But yeah, I would say focus on your life. Do what you want, but my point of view is I closed the door. I stopped chasing. A couple of years ago, I switched off all my dating profiles, and I've just been happy enjoying my life. And good things happen. Better things happen. You're calmer. You're not stressed. You're not sort of anxiously fighting against women and, why can't I find the right... It's like, yeah, just have your standards, and whatever passes through it does. And basically the wrong kind of person doesn't come through, or less likely to. RP Mentor, how are you, man? He says, psychopaths are inclined towards solitude as well as expressly pursuing goals. This is not a viable mode of being for most people, but they sure will attempt to imitate it. Look, sociopaths, psychopaths, like any kind of borderline personality trait, they're very rare in society. we are fostering those traits. Like, we are fostering narcissistic traits, rather. We're fostering narcissistic type traits with people via online interactions and trolling in the comments section, the way we relate to people and fight and debate. But actual clinical narcissists and borderline personalities, they're very rare. We need to be aware of them, but mostly they're just describing really hardwired traits that are an awful person that no amount of therapy can really dislodge. You might be able to soften them so they can kind of get on with life as best they can, but it's almost impossible to have relationships with those kind of people. It's good to be aware of them, but you don't cast clinically diagnosed like sociopathic, narcissistic, psychopathic traits on like your ex because she was a CUNT. Like, they're just a bad person. Like, it makes you feel better by saying, oh, my ex was a narcissist. Like, yeah, was she? Or was she just like an awful person? I don't like how a lot of these terms are thrown around. They're interesting though. But certainly a lot of people are starting to exhibit those traits. It's a fascinating topic going into the psychology of all of that. And it's a very popular subject online. YouTube especially is littered with, especially narcissism. Narcissism's become very, very popular. There's a lot of informative videos out there. But I would say don't get too locked up where you can dismiss someone because they're narcissistic or whatever. What the good thing I think it does, it helps you put a name to bad behavior, even if they aren't clinically narcissistic. If you recognize that, narcissistic behavior, and then you see someone exhibiting narcissistically, then I think that's a good thing that helps you avoid that person. So you don't actually have to have a relationship before you discover, oh, they are actually a narcissist. It's enough that they actually are acting a bit like that. And it's like, not going near that. Thank you. So that's the good thing. Shinza says, what good is it to have all this knowledge of female nature if I'm not going to test it in real life? Yeah, that's the other thing. If you're learning this kind of stuff so you can fine-tune yourself, not women, you fine-tune yourself in relation to playing the game, this sport out there with women. You don't go out there like an amateur and get your ass kicked by professional sociopaths. This stuff trains you to be a good athlete in that sport. Say it's the metaphor is football. Like, you train on your own as much as you can, and then you slowly step in there, and then you become professional as well. And then you know how to operate in there. You can hold your own in this sport. But to go into a professional sport as an amateur and then complain that, oh no, they kick my ass. It's like, yeah, well, they're competitive there. They have psychopathic and narcissistic tendencies out there. Michael says, I don't like roller coasters, so I don't ride them. Yep. Don't ride a roller. If a woman looks like a roller coaster, don't ride her. I would rather ride someone who's one of those safe rides. You go to theme parks, not the roller coasters. I would rather have a fun ride like that the grandparents go on. Like a really just a fun ride that doesn't kind of make you feel like you're on the edge of death all the time. This is what guys go for. I'd rather go for the kind of the enjoyable, fun ride at the theme park. The stuff that kind of doesn't just like stimulate my base senses. Like, a lot of guys, they're just interested in dating like they're interested in skydiving. But I'm interested in dating like I'm interested in going for a hike, or going for like just an enjoyable theme park ride that's not a roller coaster. You know what I mean? A very, like, where I'm not on the edge of my seat, but I'm just enjoying it. And for everyone else, it's boring. It's like, why would you bother having a relationship if it's not a roller coaster, if you don't feel like you're on the edge of death? It's like, you guys are insane. You complain about the edge of death experience, but you refuse to ride anything that isn't an edge of death experience. You're all dating primarily without the prefrontal. So you're all skydiving, and just the animal kind of exhilaration is all that's being exercised, not the thinking, calm, rational, experienced kind of brain. General Veers, thank you very much for the donation. I appreciate it. His donation comment is, all those I don't want to say it, the conflict that's happening in Europe, men thrust into sort of fighting when the bull of the West is stripped away, why women are not conscripted. A female doctor at the front line has value. Yeah, that's the one thing. Like, I don't like that in that country the leader has just put a hand in every put a, can't even say the word, everything gets flagged, that the leader in the conflict that's going on has put a weapon in the hand of every kid above the age of 5 and under the age of 60. Yeah, that annoys me. So TechBiz Canada says, I'm getting mixed messages, human. In what way? Nandini, thank you very much for the donation. Her comment is, I was feminine for 6 good years after taking my dad's advice to not get ahead of myself. I wound up homeless being feminine. So I'm focused on an important project for humanity. Good for you. Yeah. So you're one of the rare women who end up homeless compared to men. I know both men and women end up homeless. There's much more men that end up homeless. But good to hear that you're focusing on humanitarian things. This is the thing, guys. If man or woman, you sort of try, you've gone through experiences, and you've gotten to a point of in your life where you're done with the past and you want to move forward with this. That's fine. Whether you want to be with in a romantic relationship or not, how you want to now spend your time interacting with people. So most of the time we want to share all our affection and caring and love and everything with one person. When you've kind of been burnt too much, some people kind of say, I've locked that door. I want to share that kind of caring in a smaller way and spread it all over the world. And I'm not really going to be hurt, but I'm going to kind of treat people well, and I'm going to help the world, and I'm going to contribute. That's also a good way to go. There is an in-between too, but just locking yourself away, not contributing to yourself, not contributing to anyone, and just kind of crossing your arms and waiting for the sand to run out of the hourglass. I don't think it's a good waste of spent. It's a good time. It's not a good time that you spend. It's not time well spent. That's the word I was looking for. Jason says, I ask what a woman sees in me. What she recognizes in me are the traits that are truly in her. This is how to find out who she really is. Yeah. You ask women, what do you love about your husband? They'll tell you what they love, and it's usually about how he treats her. He doesn't actually love much about her. So similarly, you're right, Jason. Ask, if you sort of spend time with a woman, ask her, like, what do you actually like about me? Or if you're far into the relationship and she loves you, ask her, what do you love about me? And start to see if she actually says values that describe a human being, whether it's words like, I like your kindness, I like how you're considerate, I like how you're very honest, I like you're empathetic, you're like just human qualities that are really, really good. Or does she say, I like how you make me feel, I like that you make me happy, I like that. If it's about her and what she gives, but not anything that she likes about you as a person, that's things to keep in mind. Is she having a relationship with herself, or is she having a relationship with you? Vero says, not related to the subject, but how do you feel post-operation? I feel fine. He's relating to I had surgery, so most of my front teeth are removed. I'm wearing a plate at the moment, which is kind of going to look like my final teeth. I've got a checkup in 3 days with the surgeon to make sure it's healing properly, which I hope it is. And then in, I say, 3 months or something, they'll put in the implants, and then the final, my forever teeth. And I don't have to wear this uncomfortable thing. I've gotten used to this a bit, but yeah, I'd rather not. So anyway, is what it is. Actually, it's like the first few weeks, I have to be honest, the first few weeks of wearing this plate, I thought, if this is what most people who have dentures have to do their whole lives, I don't want to wear this. But after a couple of weeks, it's actually pretty fine. I can actually eat with this better than I could before when I had problems with 1 or 2 of my teeth. I had to always chew on the side and be very careful. But now it's like, it's 100 times better. So, yeah, get your problems fixed, everyone. There's a lesson. But I'm doing fine. Thanks for asking. Roman says, the perfect boyfriend comes home from work, puts on a microwave meal and watches Netflix for the rest of the night with me. But it can only be the shows I like to watch. This is what a woman thinks. Yeah, learning to swim is a good thing. Don't just let yourself be carried downstream. Life is not that much, that powerless as far as I can tell. Learn to swim and you have a bit of control. Sure, you're going to be taken downstream with everyone eventually, but if you can swim and enjoy the journey and be proud of some of the control you have, experience some stuff where you go, yeah, I tried. Everyone just let themselves like float downstream. I actually tried and I got stuff that other people didn't get. And it was because I tried. It's because I took a recoverable risk, a rational risk, you know, not a reckless one where my whole life would be destroyed, but eyes wide open. I know if I fail, this will happen. And if that did happen, I was well aware of the price I'd have to pay. But then sometimes you have victories too. And other people will say, well, you were lucky. It's like, was I? Or did I really do it with my eyes open? I could have failed, but I didn't. And none of you are going to get successes like that if you don't actually take a calculated risk. That's the word I was looking for, calculated risks. RP Mentor says, not 100% sure this is true, but according to Dr. Sam Vaknin, 50% of women are now narcissists. Yeah, Sam Vaknin's like a leading expert on narcissism. I think he wrote a lot of the literature, in a lot of the narcissistic literature in the therapy industry. But I think it's also a product of how we interact now online. And it's also a reason why they took narcissism out of the DSM, because it's so common now. It pretty much describes most people. And yeah, most women exhibit narcissistic traits today, much more than before social media. So they're being conditioned to be more and more narcissistic, even if they aren't clinically hardwired as narcissists. Yeah, I've heard this when Sam Vaknin says these narcissistic women today, they select beta males to avoid narcissistic injury. Yeah. So to be in control, say they never get hurt, they just use up men who aren't alphas. And a lot of guys out there posture like they're alphas, but they're not. And they get sucked in, they get hurt. And these guys just rinse and repeat and, you know, pick themselves up and get richer and start another business and get jacked at the gym again. And they go out there thinking that it's luck. And then they find other narcissistic women. It's good to recognize all of this sort of narcissistic stuff to the degree to which that when you're on a date, if she's selfishly and obnoxiously exhibiting these kind of antisocial, vindictive, mean traits, it's not sexy. You avoid that person. So I think it's useful to know this stuff, but don't. I wouldn't. I wouldn't get too attached in terms of like creating a narcissistic borderline world of people out there that we have to wade through. Just I would rather. I mean, you watch RP Mentor, RP Mentor Tokyo. You're watching Sam Vaknin, so I'm pretty sure you're aware of Richard Grannon. I'm more of a Richard Grannon person than a Sam Vaknin person. Not to say that I don't enjoy Sam Vaknin. I'd say that you would probably enjoy Sam Vaknin much more because he's much more analytical, a much more university data number fact driven essay intellectual based. Whereas I prefer the filter of Richard Grannon, but I like both of them. So for me, it's kind of just recognize an a-hole. Don't sort of try and, not excuse it, but don't try and kind of overanalyze, well, oh, she's a narcissist. This one's like a borderline. This one's just antisocial. This person is blah, blah, blah. And therefore, like you start thinking that you can game and work them out and keep them at a distance and maybe still have a relationship with them. It's like, no, if this person is a bad person, if this person irritates you, if this person makes you feel defensive, this person's really weird, you can't trust them, just don't be around them. Who cares what you can label them as a smart person? But it is definitely interesting, though. I think about 3 to 5 years ago, I really went down the rabbit hole, and I was consuming a lot of Sam Vaknin and Richard Grannon. And I still think I recommend a lot of you people who are interested in relationships and the strings that get pulled between, because let's face it, a lot of times when we meet people, not a lot of times, all the times, we're meeting strangers, and any help we can have in discerning what is healthy and unhealthy, especially if we're trying to be healthy first, the better. Thank you for the donation. This is a Bricko. His comment is, this roller coaster versus walking in the park metaphor feeds into society's I want to be happy, I want it now mentality. Yeah. I want to be excited. Girls just want to have fun. Like, OMG. Everything has to be OMG. Not just, oh, that's cool. No. Everything has to be exaggerated. We have to go to the limit. So she can't just be attractive. She has to be a hot mess train wreck, stripper, kind of Kim Kardashian. Like, otherwise, you're competing against, you know, what's kind of the most popular out there. The most popular women out there on OnlyFans, they're Kim Kardashian. They're the worst kind of women that you would never want to have a stable relationship with. So everyone's basing their standards on the extremes out there, the Hollywood standard, and they're awful people. You really wouldn't want to have a relationship in your normal life with them. My life is too boring and stable for someone like that. Like that kind of woman would get bored with my life in a day. So this is part of the realism. I'm a normal guy. I want a normal girl that I'm attracted to, that I'm compatible with. That's it. This is why I don't consume. It's fun to look at reality TV. It's fun to watch men and women fight. You know, it's fun to watch Fresh and Fit. But it's kind of like, it's not my life, man. It's like, what am I going to learn? Like where the worst kind of men and women kind of fight against each other, where they have their problems at the extremes, I don't want to go near those kind of women. So it's like, it's fun for 5 minutes. But the more you watch that stuff, the more you kind of think, those are the women that I find entertaining. And you can't discern between they're entertaining, but actually, like, I don't want to be with them. But because you're always around them in the entertainment you watch, you find them more and more familiar and comfortable because that's what you're attracted to in your entertainment. If that makes sense. Yeah, so this is a Bricko says, the society of I want to be happy and I want it now mentality. they say, give me a relationship. Okay, I'm bored now, sad now. Give me a relationship. It's just a cyclical sort of thing. It's that roller coaster, like gimme, up, down, up, down. I'm bored, I'm excited, I'm bored, I'm excited. Well, if that's what you are, and it's like, well, I just haven't found the right person, you need to adjust yourself. Like, no one can, like, if you've got a life that cannot be consistent, no matter which person tries, the nicest, most stable person, guy or girl, can't shift you, because you've tuned your life to be roller coaster. I said in my video recently, women who want stable roller coasters, not going to happen. Not going to happen. I don't care. I don't care who you can point to on Instagram that says their life is like that. It's not. Hoops 590. He says, human, question for you is, what do you think of the manosphere content that uses disparaging language towards females? I don't think it's constructive. I don't think it does anything other than make you feel good about venting. Venting's good sometimes, but really, if that's all you do, it's kind of like you're just stuck at that spot. You're not really trying to relate with people. You're not trying to move on. It's fun to kind of get angry and shout and get drunk and express all that stuff. It's good to get off your chest. But at some point you get stuff off your chest and you just keep going back to wanting to experience the exhilaration of getting it off your chest over and over again. It's like you keep saying the same things. You're not actually constructively talking forward. You're not helping yourself. You're just venting again and again. You're looking at old photographs. Davina says, if you watch too many Grannon videos, you'll think everyone is a narcissist, including yourself. Yeah. Look, what I like about Grannon as well, he's imperfect. He's all over the place as well. He admits, he laughs at himself as well. Yeah, he's probably got a few issues too. Not probably, he has. So do I. So do most people. But he's trying to kind of evolve out loud, which I respect. I respect Sam Backman too. But his delivery is very cold. And I think he's a self-diagnosed narcissist. Whereas I don't think Grannon has been diagnosed. He might have. Grannon's probably got traits, but Vaknin, he's like legitimately narcissistic. And he's very, very intelligent too. Schlitz Malt Liquor, thank you for the donation. His comment in the donation is, good evening, human. Hope your grill is healing well. As usual, great work. Thank you. People asking about my surgery. Nicholas says, regarding your surgery, was it in the chair with needles and nitrous or out cold with heavy sedatives? Yeah, the latter. Like about 4 or 5 needles that were really uncomfortable, and my whole top mouth was numb. And basically pliers, removing teeth and cleaning and drills and yeah. But it was surprising. The teeth, they removed 3 teeth at the front. So I look like a boxer without my grill. And basically the procedure took like 30 minutes, which amazed me. I thought it was going to be a few hours. So costs a lot. And it's going to cost a lot when I get the final ones put in. But because they're my front teeth and I use them for biting, they're the most critical to be strong. Wearing a plate all the time, I still need to be a bit careful. Whereas, just because they're my front teeth that I used to bite and rip, it's better to have them as strong as possible. Whereas if they were kind of back teeth and stuff, I would just wear a plate at the back, because they're just kind of vertical chewing. You're not kind of moving them around, and you don't care how they look or anything like that. These look fine, but I'd rather just have them permanently in there and last me for the rest of my life. Remember, guys, if some of you have a microphone after this stream, a few of us get together on my Discord channel and we chat. So feel free, if you've got a microphone, to learn how to use Discord. It's not really that hard to log in, learn how to use push to talk. If you're unsure how to use Discord, because a few people have problems, just go on YouTube, 5-minute videos, the basics of logging on and using Discord with your microphone. And yeah, and after this stream, a couple of us will get there and have a bit of a chat. Fiona says, if you like Sam Vaknin and Richard Grannon, have you read Pete Walker's book about CPTSD, Surviving to Thriving? No, I haven't. I know that Richard talks about that book a fair bit. I haven't read it myself, though. Remember, guys, if you want to ask a question in the stream, add a whole bunch of bright colored emojis before your questions so I can see them. Nandini, thank you for the donation. She asks, is there any way that your audience is able to speak with you over a Zoom call? I've had a few people ask me for kind of like paid sessions. I feel kind of awkward because I'm not a professional. I'm not a guy who's qualified to kind of, you know, pay me for a session because I know, you know, I'm a professional. Because I don't know what people want advice for. I would say the best thing to do is email me, or if you come on Discord, I can put someone who wants to talk to me briefly in a private room to talk on Discord over voice, over a microphone for a little bit, and I can hear what you want to say. I'm happy with donations. I appreciate it. I'll put it back in my channel, but I don't really do paid consultations just because I kind of feel awkward because I'm not a paid professional. I don't want to. I encourage people to do what they want to do, but look, if there's more and more people who want to kind of have like a half an hour or an hour session because you know, I've got a life too, I may start considering doing paid sessions just because I have to take an hour of my day, as long as I know what you want to talk about and I can be confident to just be, you know, that I'm not a professional, that you're talking to someone, you know, you're talking to the guy in my videos that has an opinion, but I'm not going to tell you what to do. So yeah, jump on Discord if you want, send me a message there or send me an email, and we can organize something if you really want to talk to me. But depending on how long you want to talk, we'll see what we can do. Blonde Thought says, I used to watch Molyneux. He was interesting. Yeah, so did I, until he got kicked off of YouTube, which is a shame. He's still on Odyssey, I think. I like Molyneux. Really quick, acerbic mind. Don't agree with everything, but we don't need to agree with everything with everyone. We can learn from different points of view. I like Molyneux. A lot of people kind of were against me because I like Molyneux, but it doesn't mean because you like someone, you're an acolyte, like you believe in the religion of Molyneux. It's like, I just like how he speaks on certain topics. On certain things, when he talks about relationships, he's spot on. On other things, it's like, yeah, maybe, but it's not my point of view. A lot of things he's biased. You know, he's a guy who's got a family and a kid, and there's certain points of view where he's very, very strong and beholden to them, whereas I'm not. I've got a different life. But he's definitely someone I like. I respect Molyneux. I respect Grannon. I respect Vaknin. They're all great wells of information. They'd be interesting to talk to, actually. Yeah, Feral says to Nandini, Humans Discord has voice chat. So, Nandini, if you want, just message me in Discord if you like, or email me if you prefer to set up like a Zoom call. But if you want in Discord, usually after these live streams, I'm on there with some guys. And if you want to talk in a private room on Discord, in a private channel, I can talk to you for a little bit if you want. Some of these questions about the news of the world, I don't know much about or have no opinion, so I'm not going to read them. And people keep asking me, have you ever watched this? Have you ever seen this? Have you ever heard of this? Have you ever bought this? No. Okay, let me read some more comments from some of the videos. How long have we been going for anyway in the stream at the moment? Oh, an hour and a half. I've been blabbing for quite a bit. Steve says under my video, try again. Here's why. He says, broadly speaking, I believe that living your life by following principles is where you find meaning. The study and function of philosophy is terribly underrated in the modern West. Stoicism is great for this. A set of rational principles that can be justified and applied to an individual's daily life. It allows you to view and approach every challenge you face consistently, knowing that whatever the outcome, you have applied your mind as best you can. With that knowledge comes calm and equanimity. With that calm comes increased presence and focus. Some of the most brilliant people I know are miserable because they haven't applied themselves to philosophy or reflection enough to identify what they truly value and refine it into principle. We need to do much more of this in the world today. Yes. I have nothing more to add except I agree. Nicely put, Steve. All the Free Man says under the same video, I agree with the try again after doing the self-work and having formed healthy boundaries and expectations. However, my question is, on what planet are we to try again? That's funny. Because I know how hard it is to apply your standards in the world today. It's like, yeah, I've done the work, I've got boundaries, there's only a very, very particular seat for the kind of woman that I will even consider to be in a relationship with. Now, which planet do I go to find this one woman? Because it's short, like the chances of finding her here are... Ali A says, great advice, human. Always believe the worst thing you can do is quit and completely give up. That doesn't solve or change anything. I find keeping yourself away from people who have such a bleak outlook in life is a good place to start. Yeah. Look at the people you're associating with. Do you all keep yourself warm around the cold campfire of what's the point, give up? Is that the low-level blue flame that you're keeping yourself warm under? Or are you under like a more brighter red or yellow flame of, more optimistic, self-reflective kind of warmth around a campfire with people? N Entertainment extended under why promises matter to a man. He says, yeah, relationships are second jobs for men. That's if they make it through the interview process. Yeah, I was talking about that. I mentioned in that video about how most guys go on dates feeling like they have to get the job of boyfriend, and actually women act like they're the employee, seeing if he's worthy of the job of being her boyfriend. So both of them actually think the same way, compatibly. But if you want the job, don't be surprised that when that relationship turns into a job, because you got what you wanted. You approached it in that way. Whereas, as I've said in the past, a great turning point for me came where I had enough of turning up to job interviews on dates. And it was like, I'm turning up to dates. I'm only going on dates where I see a potential friend. I'm going to have fun and talk to a potential friend. She looks like a good person. You know, I'm not banking on her being the one. Let's go and have fun on a date, meet a person, have a laugh. You know, she's not attached to me. And like soberly, really kind of interrogate it as a friendship. Like, are you a good person? Not, you're not even, I'm not even considering a relationship with you. I'm considering, are you a good friend? Because when you take the standpoint of, are you a good friend? Then if they're not, there's no second date. There's not even a consideration. But if you go there going, are they a good potential mother to my kids that I want to have in 3 or 5 years or whatever? I've got this vision in the future, a goal. It's like, no, the only goal I have is this a person that is cool and friendly and I can respect, and, you know, go with very, very low level expectations of an important thing like a friend. If they're not a friend, because if you can't have a good friendly time with someone, it's very easy to kind of go, yeah, well, anyway, I knew them, I caught up for a coffee and it's no big deal. But if you're banking all your chips, you're going all in on the poker table going, you know, I hope I get an ace. I'm going there wanting to win the jackpot. You don't want to do that. You don't want to do that. Johnny Cool, on my recent video that I responded to Danny, the one I uploaded last night, where he was missing his ex-girlfriend. So the recent video, I miss my ex-girlfriend, so what's the lesson? He said, no one misses their ex. You miss the fantasy, not her. Yes, you miss what could have been. He says, and women are not into spirit. Excuse me. He says, and women are not into spirituality as men are spiritual. Yeah, he says, women are into spirituality, but men are spiritual. It's the stigma behind the word spiritual that scares guys away, but men are naturally waking up within on it. Yeah. So, yeah, women are into spirituality, but I don't think most women are really spiritual if you're talking about self-reflection. You listen to a lot of the spirituality online that has a lot of women in it. It's very ephemeral. It's very kind of, you know, just love the universe, kind of this very sort of transient stuff that you can't put handles on. But the more concrete stuff like psychology, like philosophy, that kind of more concrete, reflective spirituality of who you are as a person and how you conduct yourself in a very tactile way, that's more of a kind of male-based thing. You see a lot of guys trying to make spirituality more practical. That's probably a better way to put it. I think there's more guys trying to make spirituality more practical and putting handles on it, because when you put handles on spirituality and self-reflection, then that's a way of kind of conducting yourself and navigating through life. I think women are, they're attracted to kind of this really weird kind of Oprah-style spirituality where it's just believe. If you believe in something, it'll come true, because of women's general passive nature towards succeeding in life, because they never have to really, all they have to do is kind of place themselves there, look good, and then a man will notice them, and the man makes the stuff happen, impresses her, you know, pushes the relationship forward. Whereas with him, he kind of has to make something happen, because so a man doesn't do well with Oprah-style spirituality. It's kind of, it doesn't make sense. Can you actually talk about it where your spirituality has handles on it that I can grab hold of? No, I can't, because it's just about, you know, feelings and believing and, you know, willpower, and, you know, it's like, yeah, it doesn't make sense, lady. Give me something I can hold on to. Well, I can't. You just got to trust. Yeah, but trust in what? So yeah, men need something concrete. So men's spirituality really, really needs a practical application around it, so it can sort of, so it can kind of work in the world. A woman's one is just like believe and I've got a positive attitude and so I hope it happens and I want it to happen. Whereas a man's like, yeah, positive attitude, all that stuff, like how can we make it happen? It's similar to when women kind of are emoting and telling you their problems. They don't want you to fix it. They just want to express and emote the emotions, and they love releasing them, and releasing them makes them feel good, and they think everything will be all right, the release of it. Whereas a man is kind of like, okay, what can we do to make this real and fix it and make the world good? I want to kind of do it in the real world. Whereas women really aren't that way inclined. Sure, there are exceptions, but you know, the middle of the bell curve, what general people are like, men and women are generally different that way. Martial arts, oriental medicine says, hello, human and everyone. Human, did you get my email? Thank you. I'll have a check. Sorry. I think I got your last one. Did you send me another one in the last week and a half? Yeah, there we go. KG Jung says, ironically, a job interview is supposed to be a two-way street. The candidate is supposed to ask questions of the interviewer to make sure the company is a good fit for the candidate too. I know, but most people don't. I had success. I think it was at the same time I took that attitude with dating. I took the same attitude and approach with job interviews too. And I started having better outcomes in job interviews. I go to job interviews seeing if I could actually meet a friendly workplace, meet a friendly boss. So I'd go there looking that I was compatible with this job. You know, were they good people? Was the person interviewing me a human being? Could we laugh? Could we joke? Could we talk on the same page? That kind of thing. So I think when I had that turning point, I used it everywhere. So this kind of attitude that I talk about in my videos, and I say everything's a relationship, you can take that to job interviews, you can take it to dates, you can take it to everything you do. It's transferable and it's consistent across the board. Okay, let's wrap up the stream, guys. Any last questions? Put a whole bunch of emojis, like 2 or 3 brightly colored emojis next to your question, and I'll answer them before I end the stream. So anyone who wants to ask a question or donate, super chat, do it now, because there's a 20-second delay between me and you. So I'd hate for a question or a donation to happen just as I end within those 20 seconds, because it'll seem to you like you donated or you asked a question and then I ignored you and said bye. But basically, I'm ahead of you by 20 seconds. Ted1775 says, too much of spirituality is woo-woo. It is when you don't put handles on it. I think male spirituality resembles Stoicism. Female spirituality resembles Oprahism. Female spirituality is just believe in the universe and energy and auras and crystals and star signs. Man's spirituality is Stoicism, philosophy, practicality. It needs to kind of make sense in a tactile way in the world. It needs to be a steering wheel he can drive. It can't sort of be something he just kind of... I realize this part of life where a man has to kind of jump off the cliff, but he has to rationally prepare to do that because that's the right thing to do. But there always needs to be a rational approach to a man's spirituality or philosophy and stuff like that. That's a big difference as far as I can see between men and women. Feral Android, thank you for the donation. His comment is good stream. Thanks. Thanks for the donation. Remember, guys, if you've got a microphone, I'll see you guys who know how to use Discord after this chat. A whole bunch of us get on my Discord for a group chat. If you're unsure, jump on YouTube, watch a 5-minute quick video that shows you how to use Discord and how to use push to talk. That's very important, to use push to talk. That lets everyone kind of not interrupt each other. Realistic Delinquent says, where and what activities can a young man find friends? I know it's a lot harder these days because people just reside on their screens. Even when they're out in public, they're not really with each other. They're here. I don't want to be glib and just say, you know, find a sporting team or a group. There are those things, like whatever your hobby is, whatever you like doing, join a group that does that, and then at least that you'll find like-minded people that at least you'll have a starting point to have conversations with because you're both into it. But just finding random strangers and then trying to find out if you're compatible, that's harder. So whatever you're naturally into, say you're into video games, see if there's groups that catch up and play live, like at a place. If you're into movies or books, do they do meetups and catch-ups? That kind of stuff. Is there any groups, no matter what you're interested in, even if it's not largely social, do they meet up once a month or somewhere where you can join and just rub shoulders with like-minded people? So then at least you can start to connect with something as a baseline. Schlitz Maltz Liquor says, never have I known a female that wanted to solve their problems. That is one less thing to talk about. All right, guys. I hope you enjoyed the stream. I had fun. Like, subscribe, comment on the channel. It keeps the algorithm thinking you're interacting. If you don't interact, they think you're a sock puppet account. They don't like you being passive, unfortunately. I wish you could just subscribe and leave it at that. Comment under my videos, like the videos, and I'll see you in the next video. And for those of you with a microphone, I'll see you on Discord after this chat. All right, guys, have a good one. Catch you later.